Lighting up the way, Valley Electric Association.
Well, we're still receiving threats and letters from disgruntled past employees that have apparently encouraged friends and relatives to join in and complain to the county manager and the county commissioners about the way we take care of the animals here at Desert Haven Animal Society. And of course, our book is open. Anyone can come in and inspect our premises and see that these accusations are all false.
There was an item on the agenda this last Board of County Commissioners meeting put on there by the county manager, Tim Sutton, to talk about renewing your contract with the county. Can you tell me about that?
Well, actually, he had sent me an email stating that we were in default of our contract, and it was all due to the flood of letters of complaints. And my concern was that the commissioners didn't come down to even check out the facility to see if any of these complaints were valid. And we still state that they're all invited to come in at any time and visit the shelter and see exactly for themselves what's true and what's not.
When Don came in the first week, it was really good because he tried to learn more about how the shelter functioned and the things of how everything goes. I tried to show him the processes of adoption, when the animals can leave, when they can't leave, spay and neuter, who the vets we were working with. It seemed to be going really smooth. Then Ellen was gone for 3 weeks on vacation. It started getting to where there were things, when he said he wanted to be the shelter manager, there were certain things that he was responsible for, and that was watching his workers, his staff, making sure they were doing their jobs. I was always asking him, we got people in every day for volunteers. He refused to bring volunteers in. He said they're a liability. And I said, well, that's not, we've never had a problem with the volunteers. He said, well, they need to be trained. And I said, well, yes, they do. They're not any different than your staff. When you bring new staff in, your staff has to be trained. He never trained his staff. His staff were trained by the previous staff. There was just a number of things that went wrong that we had a problem with. He didn't seem like he really wanted to work with the board. He promised to make sure to take care of the impound account, which consists of all of our protected custody animals. He promised to do all the financials to make sure that the county received the financials on a monthly basis. Since he was here, he didn't. He used the excuse that he did not have everything he needed to do that. After he left, Ellen and I thought, well, what's the problem? Everything should be here, it should be in the system, everything that the county required. We went into the office. Most of the stuff that he needed was inside.
So he did a report that said that the board was difficult to work with, that he asked for a contract to be signed, and there was $100,000 on the table that was turned down, that you didn't want to conform with the Maddie's project and how they wanted to manage things.
Actually, that's not completely fact. Dawn did not want to work with the board. Everything that was done by Maddie's pet project was supposed to have approval of the board and placed before the board for a vote. It never was. Mind you, he was brought in as a consultant. He was sent here as a consultant and only a consultant to work with both Jane and myself, which he refused to do. He was supposed to be here for only 3 months. The word out on the street is that I fired him, which I did not, because once again, that's a board decision. And as president of the board, I am not even allowed to vote. So my vote was a nil vote because I wasn't allowed to vote. The board itself voted to terminate him. That was done the day before his contract was over, and he was to leave that Tuesday.